Well, okay, before we do anything related to this episode, I'd like to talk to you about perseverance.
Right.
And that
Yes.
when literally every damn piece of shit thing that could go wrong in the process of trying to record this episode does in fact go wrong,
Yep.
you're still getting this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly.
honestly.
It's a testament to a few things. One, our love of film. Two, our love of this show, but further, our love of bringing the show to you, our audience. So it's a mixture of those two things, and it's why we do the show. And you're right, perseverance.
Why were none of those options our love for each other?
It was, you know what the funny thing was? I was about to say I wasn't going to say our love for each other, but like our interest in like talking to each other or like talking about film or like just hanging out via the phone. And then I just kind of like skimmed over it inadvertently, and I just like never came back to it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's,
I don't take it personally. We'll edit it back in. Just
okay.
put that in
All
somewhere.
Right. So welcome back. It's been 2 weeks since you've heard our glorious voices.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're back. Things are a little bit different. We'll explain that at the end of the show. And also, as said, we're trying a different recording method, mostly because there was technical difficulties with our regular recording method. And so there's a 62% chance that this won't work. And that it'll go horribly wrong.
That's a higher percent chance that I'm cool with.
Yeah, well, but it is what it is. So if that does in fact happen, I don't know. Sorry. If it doesn't sound as good as usual, sorry.
Yeah.
You know. So anyways.
If you had investing stocks in the previous software that we were using, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. If you're an Adobe fan, my deepest no, Adobe's great, and
Adobe is good.
There's a very good chance we'll go back to using Adobe.
Oh, for sure. Obi-Wan Adobe.
Yeah. The issue is, I'll be straightforward. The issue is I don't have my computer with me.
Yep.
And my software is on my computer, and so I'm using someone else's computer, and they don't have the software.
Yep.
Because not everyone is an audiophile like I am. And so we're using like an online service. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say how this will work.
We'll see. Well, this week we continue on our series of having votes, and you tell us what to watch, and we do it year by year, going back in time. And this episode, we're covering 2011.
Yeah, you voted on this like
a long time ago.
3.5 weeks ago at this point.
You pretty much voted in 2011 as the films were coming out.
Yeah, some of them hadn't even come out yet. You're like,
Melancholia kind of looks good, but I don't know if I'll vote for it. Okay.
Yeah. So we took kind of an unplanned hiatus, sort of an unplanned summer holiday.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was relaxing. It was restful.
Yes.
I got married. No, I didn't get married. But yeah, sometimes even though things, I'll be honest, like I was really stressed going into the holiday because the holiday wasn't planned. Like essentially the holiday happened because everything fell apart and there was just no way to make the show happen for 2 weeks.
Yep. Right. Yep.
But I think towards the end I started to enjoy it.
Good.
Yeah. But I'm equally happy to be back.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Super 8.
Yeah, a lot of films. I have to do a shout out to 2011 to start, because we had our previous vote was for 2012 and it was a bit of a dud, and it just seemed like a bit of a dead year. But 2011 was so strong. And not only the 4 candidates, like we had Limitless, Warhorse, Super 8, and what was the 4th one? It was one of your options.
Oh yeah, so that's why you don't remember?
No, yeah. I don't have it off the top of my head. But regardless, it was 4 equally strong candidates in the voting.
I don't know.
And there was a lot of
remember
films.
Either.
There were a lot of films that were in 2011 that were great, like Lincoln Lawyer, Midnight in Paris, Moneyball. There were the remake of Footloose. Like, there was a lot of good films in 2011. So it was a very, very tough choice.
That's a controversial thing you just said. Not everybody likes the Footloose remake.
Actually, I'm not even really sure why I said it. It's passable, but it's not great.
So I saw the original Footloose late in the game.
Sure.
And so I think I would rather sit and watch the remake. Just because I didn't have that nostalgic connection to it. And
I'm
so
there.
just from like a newer film standpoint, like the acting feels better.
Sure. Oh yeah,
and
for
stuff.
sure.
So for me, it was a more enjoyable experience.
You know what? If you were selling that on a roadside stand, I'd buy it. I'm there.
We bought a zoo. Was the other option.
We bought a zoo, right? So yeah, like I said, great films. And we just had to pick 4, and eventually you just had to pick 1, and it was Super 8. And how should we get into this? Should we start off with some? Let's go feet first into some trivia here.
Okay.
The first is, so there's just one question for you this week. The little tidbitty thing.
You only had 2.5 weeks to come up with trivia, so I understand. I wouldn't have expected more.
Yeah. So the little thing that I was impressed with, as far as an aspect of this film. This isn't a trivia question.
Careful how you throw around the term "little thing."
Why?
It makes me uncomfortable. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. It's just little and thing should not be. We're the movie Men, so little thing
is nothing that we're having anything to do with.
Right.
That
was weird. Now I don't. That was just taken to a whole new weird place. Okay, trivialize me.
Okay, I did find it interesting that it was portrayed by actual children actors that were relatively the age that of the characters that they were playing.
Right. No more. They were going to have Tobey Maguire play one of the 9-year-olds, but they were like, this one might be a little too much, Toby. We're sorry.
So yeah, I mean, I can't. This isn't a good example. It's not a comp as far as the type of movie Super 8 is. But one of our earlier episodes, we talked about Grease, which is high school children that were played by like people pushing 30, some people past 30, and it was just incredibly unbelievable. But if you just look at Ellie Fanning, like she's 14 years old when this film was made, and the other children are approximately around the same age. So it is nice to see the creative team choose and have confidence in children actors, and it is nice to see these children actors pull off the roles effectively.
Yeah, definitely.
That is, I just found it interesting because that's one of the first things I looked up. I was like, are these actual children that are around the age they should be? And they were. So my actual question for you is based off a very subtle moment in the movie. I'm not sure if you caught it or noticed it, but I want you to tell me which member of the creative team had an acting cameo in this film, and I'll give you some options.
Okay.
The first is J.J. Abrams. The second, Steven Spielberg. The third, Michael Giacchino.
I don't think JJ is known for putting himself in his films.
Okay.
Right? Like, Peter Jackson is.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, so now I'm just trying to think, was he, like, obviously in Lord of the Rings, there's that kind of role he had in every film, but what about his non-Lord of the Rings films?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Steven Spielberg because I don't think it's JJ, and I have no flipping idea who the third guy is.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so I'm gonna go with Steven Spielberg
Steven
because
Spielberg.
he's
Okay.
just a producer, and
Right. Yes. Right.
it's kind of he's always kind of had a 1980s look to him.
Right.
So he would
Yeah.
just fit right in. They didn't even
He'd
need to
fit
do
right
any
in.
makeup.
So here's a bit of a twist. The twist was in your favor. It was a bit of a trick question in that there was more than one cameo. And so instead of having 1/3 chance of getting the question right, you had 2/3 because there actually two of those three were in the movie.
Thank you for giving me the benefit of the doubt.
But you picked the one incorrect
Are
answer.
you serious?
You did. So there's different shades here. J.J. Abrams was in it, and it was, I'm talking a snippet. He played a soldier exiting a Jeep, and then he walked past the children about partway through the film. And I'm talking like that's the equivalent of like someone dressed as a stormtrooper saying, "Hey, look, Toby Maguire was stormtrooper number 7," and it's like, well, that's kind of hard to catch. So the J.J. Abrams one, I like. It's technically he had a cameo, but it was so I had to pause the screen and be like, oh yeah, I guess that's it, J.J. Abrams.
I guess, yeah.
The one was Michael Giacchino, who made the soundtrack for this film, and has a few quite well known soundtracks. I believe The Incredibles, for sure, Lost, and obviously this film. And he played one of the deputies, and his probably most profound scene was at the table when they're all kind of storming over ideas, and one of the deputies eats the pizza that was saved for the son. But
Right, yeah, totally. How did I miss that?
I did. I let off the question. It's very subtle. All these cameos were subtle, but the point is Michael Giacchino and J.J. Abrams were both in this film, and that was your trivia for this week.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. So Super 8.
Yes.
One
One of my picks.
One of your picks.
But not the one I wanted to win.
Okay. Yeah.
I was out of all of them, I had never heard of Limitless, and I think I was very curious for Limitless.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Super 8 was probably my least desired of the four.
Yeah, I don't know if I would.
But like I said, these were four strong films. 2011 was a blockbuster year. I was still intrigued by Super 8.
I'll say that. I think maybe Warhorse was one I wasn't keen on.
Fair enough.
But
yeah. So, you had not seen this film.
no.
I had, probably around 2012, so a long time ago. And I walked into watching this film this week, not remembering a darn thing. And so I basically went into it with just memories of what I thought about when I originally watched this film. But beyond that, I was watching a new film, and I was just as naive as you were walking into it. And the only thing that I remember from 2012 is when I watched it, my expectations were high going into it because I had a horse in this race. It was written and directed by J.J. Abrams, and the soundtrack was by Michael Giacchino, and both were so freshly, after this film was so freshly after the conclusion of Lost, which I'm a super fan of. So this film had a lot to fulfill for me. And when I watched it then, I do remember after just metaphorically shrugging my shoulders and going, meh. And my impressions now, after I watched it, I'm metaphorically shrugging my shoulders going, meh.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the film's got so much potential.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think the recipe has all the ingredients.
Yes.
But I think maybe the yeast was past its date.
Right.
And was dead.
Or mismeasured. They put in a little, not quite enough. Just something. Something is off. Yeah. And you're going to get used to this, and I feel like we need to, I'm going to make a comparison here, and it is just Stranger Things. And obviously the first time I saw this, Stranger Things wasn't even nearly in existence. It was years away.
Mm-hmm.
But after watching it now, I've seen Stranger Things, and just without a doubt, I'm not taking any hot takes here. Stranger Things is far superior to Super 8.
I would say I had three comparisons.
Okay. Yep.
Stranger Things is definitely one.
Okay.
A little bit of the Goonies.
I have not seen, but
Sort of the Goonies vibe. I've
culturally,
seen part
I
of it.
know what you're talking about, so
Right.
I'm with you.
And then the other one would be the It Chapter 1. Because again, you've got that ragtag group of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Shit's gone wrong.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I kind of made a bit of a scale here, and I've got It and Stranger Things greater than Super 8.
Yeah.
After I watched Super 8 the other night, and I'm with you. I feel I'm with Stranger Things.
Stranger Things season 1.
Correct. Thank you for making that clarification. Stranger Things Part 1.
I think I would rather watch Super 8 than watch Stranger Things season 2. Definitely season 3.
Definitely season 3. Season 2, I feel like you could flip a coin.
Flip a coin.
But yes, thank you for making that. That's true. But I'm going to mirror what you said with Stranger Things. It succeeded in combining these narrative elements or these ingredients, and I just felt Super 8 had a lot of the same elements and just failed to launch. Like just something in the rocket fuel just wasn't catalyzing, and it just didn't utilize and combine the same ingredients to the same effective degree.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. Okay, so let's talk about merits.
Sure.
Visually stunning. CGI is a little dated.
Yeah. But I would say not to the degree that it hurts the storytelling.
Right. But like that whole, when they're on the train station platform and the train crash and everything, that is special effects pornography. That is like, it's such a gratifying 2 minutes of just
That's fair.
chaos.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I was noticing is this entire, obviously with the exception of the CGI that's in it, if you were to plop this film down in front of me and say, "Oh, this came out in 1986," I'd go, "Yeah, sure, totally," because not only is it obviously set in the 80s, but it felt like there were moments where I was watching it and I thought to myself, "This is a 1980s Steven Spielberg film."
Interesting.
He walked off the set of E.T. and he walked onto the set of this. Like just some of the panning shots of towns with the cars everywhere, and I don't think anyone. I'm going to say this, even though Spielberg didn't direct this, I would like to think that he was heavily involved on a creative standpoint, because it to me it reeks of 1980s Steven Spielberg. And I don't think anyone does the 1980s better than Spielberg.
Interesting.
I think that's his strong suit.
Okay.
I loved Ready Player One.
Okay.
But it was
Haven't seen.
But there's something weird about a modern day Spielberg film. I don't want to see Steven Spielberg direct something that takes place in 2015. 2020. Right? You think Steven Spielberg, you want a 1980s or a 1990s adventure action, maybe not even action, adventure. You want a Spielberg adventure. You want him to take you, whether it's to Neverland or it's to Elliot's bedroom or it's, out in the water with Jaws. You want an adventure.
Yeah.
In a way that only Spielberg can hit you over the head with.
Right.
Or like, yeah, I don't know. Because even artificial intelligence, which is set very futuristically, that future had kind of an 80s or 90s stench to it.
Hmm.
At least in my, it felt like a very 1980s imaginative, or
Right.
a 1980s imagining of the future.
The future. I'm trying to think about Minority Report because I know that's set in the future, but it's been a while since I've seen it, so I can't really comment on its tone.
And it's good, but again, I wouldn't put, if you were to say, give me the top 5 Steven Spielberg films, Minority Report isn't coming to lunch.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
No, but just in the context of films with like an 80s feel or a nostalgic past feel.
Yeah, totally.
Kinda. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so here, there's some comparisons to other things that Super 8 did well, that say Stranger Things or It did well. So, at first I wasn't on board of the narrative backstory children kind of coming of age, but eventually I did come around. I do think it's at a disadvantage because just of the nature of a film, it's truncated compared to a miniseries, so it just limits the depth that you can get into different characters, and it really kind of ties your hands as far as the comparables in that way. Yeah, I'm just I mean, this might be an unpopular take because of how popular the Super 8 vote was, but I not only was not into this film for, I'd say about half of it, and interspersed, there were moments where I was really kind of, I could have been taken. I was, if they had thrown a hook, I would have bit on it, and I would have been, taken a hold by this film, and it just kind of fizzled out. And so much so that I realized that I never actually previously watched this film, and that I just stopped watching it about a quarter of the way through 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was, I don't know if I had as miserable a watching experience. Yeah, I don't know if I had quite as miserable a watching experience as you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I could sit and devour a bowl of popcorn while watching.
Sure.
And go, that was fun. Because I think it's fun. I do think it's fun. I just think it's hollow.
Oh, I would completely agree that it's hollow.
I think it's very hollow. And I think because like the movie ended and I'm like, that was some great action.
Sure.
Some good like suspense almost. Kind of a thriller element, mystery, supernatural mystery type thing.
Yeah.
And I did like the father's story arc. Particularly, you've got this town drunk lowlife who by just shitty friggin' circumstances has also kind of, hasn't caused the death of the deputy's wife, but had he not called in sick to work, the accident never would have happened. Or wouldn't have happened to her.
Yep.
We don't really have details about the accident.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have happened regardless. Maybe it wasn't human error. Maybe a machine malfunctioned. It would have happened regardless, but it would have killed him instead of killing her. I don't know.
Right. So hard to say.
But getting them both in the car at the end where he breaks down and he's just like, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. And the deputy's forgiveness.
Yeah.
Right. And it was an accident. Like, it's not your fault. So I liked all that. But then the movie ends, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so what was with this alien? Like, where did it come from? I mean, outer space. But, like, we weren't given any details.
Well, and that's
like, what experiments were they running on them? And we get a little, but we get that footage, and you see that its ship is built out of these aluminum Rubik's Cube things.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That piques my interest. But then
Yeah, but they
that's all
got to do something with
but
it.
that's all that happens is you know
Yeah.
you piqued my interest. You know,
Yeah.
I felt like I showed up in a restaurant and I sat down and you plopped a menu in front of me, and I
Mm.
was like, "Ooh, poutine," and you go, "We're out." Oh, oh, okay. Well, maybe how's the lobster? Yeah, we don't have any of that either.
Haven't had it in years.
Okay, well, what do you have? I would recommend the toast, sir. Like, do you know what I
Right.
mean? There were
Yeah.
so many things to entice me,
Right.
but there was no payload for any of it.
So I'll say this: my viewing experience wasn't miserable, but how I felt afterwards was time is a commodity, right? We only have so much time, and when I looked at watching this film, when I say was it bad? No. But when there are other comparables, other things on the market that I could invest my time in, which is rewatching it, rewatching Stranger Things, insert your coming of age, adventure, mystery, television or movie, this just wasn't a good use of my time compared to the just very good products that are out there. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It is hollow. And that's one of the reasons why I felt so kind of just it was not a good use of my time. I mean, there's no emotional connection with why this monster is feeling scared and whatnot. It's ultimately for the last 20 minutes I was kind of bored because once we realized this monster is just scared and wants to leave, I was just kind of like, okay, like let's go. Why do we have to spend 20 minutes watching this? Like there were just times that emotionally I wasn't drawn in, emotionally had no connection, and in Stranger Things, this wasn't an issue. In It, this wasn't an issue. For various reasons, we had far more. I was more invested in those products because there was more character depth and backstory that I was invested of what was happening in each scene. And yeah, it really just failed in that regard.
Would you rather watch this or Thunderball?
Um, I, I mean, I guess probably this. I guess it would depend which I'd seen more recently, and I don't know how. How.
Would you feel more comfortable recommending this or Thunderball to a friend?
So here's the thing. You know what? Maybe you're making a point. Maybe I'm playing into your point. Maybe I'm not. I'm not sure where you're going with this, but I'll say this: I don't. I wouldn't recommend, or I wouldn't regret recommending this film to someone. I wouldn't be embarrassed about it, but I wouldn't put it at the top of my list. I would say, hey, yeah, you can watch Super 8, but before you do, check out these other things first. And if you have time, you can check out Super 8.
Right. No, I mean, I wasn't trying to get at anything. That was a
No,
genuine,
no, no.
you know.
No. Yeah.
I was just trying to make small talk, man.
And when you mentioned the monster too, just with it and with Stranger Things, and those two products are going for different things, and what they do from an artistic point of view, they have different goals and agendas individually. With Super 8, I wasn't nervous or I wasn't feeling tense during certain cinematic scenes in this film. And maybe it's just the narrative of the way they were doing it that I just wasn't invested in. And maybe we've been beating this dead horse, maybe it all just comes back to character development that I was just, hey, if one of these kids gets eaten, tough beans, but it's going to happen, and that just kind of led into me not kind of in laying down what this film was saying. I would just, yeah.
I would have been okay with any of them being eaten except for Joe.
Sure.
Joe's had shit luck. Joe's mom's dead. Like,
Yeah.
Joe's dad's a dick. He's a recovering dick, but he's a dick. And Joe didn't deserve to die. Everyone else,
And see,
they're just kids. I mean,
yeah, we were emotionally invested in Joe, and I'm going to say a couple things this film did well. Like, there was glimmering sunshine moments where I'm like, this film has a chance. Like, there was a scene specifically when Joe and Alice are sitting on the bed, and Joe is kind of opening himself up as kids do. He's not opening himself up emotionally, but he's opening himself up via his nerdy hobby of making models. And he's instead of just guarding himself, he describes about how he's going to layer a paint on this model train and then put like one of 14 different gray tones on it to give it an aged look. And he kind of just, you can tell just how passionate he is about this. And I felt like that scene really captured, I feel, what this film was maybe going for, is just this adolescence coming of age. And I felt like, okay, if we have more moments like this, I'm really feeling Alice. I'm really feeling Joe. I'm feeling like they're rich and coming off the screen here. And there were moments like that, or even, believe it or not, just there's that scene where Donnie rolls up and like he's got tunes playing on his car and he's like, whoa, WTF, and by the way, I'm baked. And like I laughed out loud. And like so there was moments where this movie made me laugh, or this movie made me feel for these characters. And I'm like, if you can thread some of these things together, it's got a chance. And it just didn't, unfortunately. And that's why I say it's not all lost. It wasn't a horrible viewing experience. It just, I would recommend other films over it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
How old would you say the kids are? They're not. She's not old enough to drive, so they're not 16.
Oh, no. I don't know, maybe 14, 15-ish?
Okay, so here's a question.
Yeah.
Would you, and I mean, this is just this is just me getting to know you.
Please. Would I grow sideburns like Alice's dad?
Would you?
No. Oh, I could, but I don't think I would.
Would you grow if you had blonde hair like that, would you grow it out in sort of a Kurt Cobain manner?
I'm not sure I would.
He's basically a trailer park Kurt Cobain.
Right. Yeah.
No, so my thought, like Joe brings Alice into his bedroom. Like,
yeah.
Nothing happens, but there's no parents home. And he's already not supposed to have her in the house.
Right.
And he brings her to his bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, would you have been caught dead doing that? I would have been terrified. I'd never have brought, because my dad's going to come home at any moment. And my dad seems like the wrath of God kind of dad.
Sure.
I mean, like Joe's dad. It's like the wrath of God kind of dad.
Yeah, I feel like two things. So yeah, I would agree. I'm not doing that because I feel like poop's going to hit the fan if his dad sees that he's brought not only a girl to his room, but Alice to his room. And both personally, at that age, I think I would have been just terrified having a girl in my room just because I would have been embarrassed because he's embarrassed of his trains, he's embarrassed of his hobbies, he doesn't have the most popular interests. I'm kind of similar as a kid. I think I would have been nervous. So for multiple reasons, I don't think I'm playing that game.
Can I make an observation that's going to seem like a jab, but it's not a jab, I promise?
Sure, yeah.
I think it's safe to say that anyone who uses the term poop hit the fan it isn't sneaking girls into their bedroom as a teenager.
For sure. I mean, he's technically not a teenager, but I get what you're saying.
Well, but whatever. Why? He's 14.
Yeah.
You think he's like 14, 15. That's a teenager.
Oh, yeah, true. Well, but no, okay, but I think she was maybe a bit older, so maybe he's like 12.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, regardless.
Right. But do you know what I mean? Like,
I hear you.
Someone who says poop hit the fan is just too respectful of the rules.
Yeah. No. I hear you.
To do. So that answered, that answered the question for me. So thank you.
One thing. So I've talked about Michael Giacchino a lot. I was personally
almost too much, some would say.
I'm just gonna say this soundtrack also just fell flat. There are films in general that I put the soundtrack on Spotify immediately. I did that with Stranger Things. With this film, it didn't hurt it, but there was never any moments that I felt goosebumps with kind of the soundtrack kind of building towards some emotional connection with the film. And yeah, I guess I just had, I'm not upset with this film. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, I don't dislike the movie.
No.
I just don't, like,
mm-hmm.
and I'm going to say this, and you're going to roll your eyes.
I might not.
I would
I'm
rather
curious.
watch this than Lost in Translation.
Oh my Lord, have mercy.
I don't
No, I
necessarily
get what you're saying.
think. I don't necessarily think there's more on the bone in this movie. I think this
Sure.
movie's more fun. If there's two movies
Oh,
that I
yeah.
don't,
Oh, yeah.
if
For
I'm
sure.
if I'm placing both of those in the category of films that I don't care for,
Yep.
then this is a more enjoyable watch. This is
Oh, yeah.
If they're both useless to me,
Mm-hmm.
then this one's fun at least.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's actiony and it's
Yep. Different films, and yeah, I see what you're saying. There's something redeemable in it, at least to some degree.
Now, if Bill Murray had been in this movie,
Ooh, who would you have put it? Like, what character would you have made him? The sheriff?
oh no, he's the alien. No, hands down. Hands down, he's picking up children and sheriffs and eating them. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, again,
Just picture like Garfield. Like he just would have voiced it like Garfield.
yeah.
Yeah.
Joking aside, like if there had been some emotional connection with the monster to the audience, I think this film would have maybe been a bit more elevated. So I don't think Bill Murray being the alien would have hurt the film.
Yeah, I mean, they try. They try at the end where the boy's like, "It's okay.
Yeah.
We can be I made you this friendship bracelet." Like
Yeah.
and then
I don't know.
and then all the alien really does is go, "Look, I have a human set of eyes as well. Aren't I?" Like it changes its
Yeah.
eyes kind of.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now it's got like corneas and stuff. It's like,
Right.
what? Where did those come from?
Yeah. I don't
And
know.
also you understand English? Like
Right.
which
Yeah.
I guess maybe happened because it did like the Avatar ponytail link with the professor.
Right.
And so
But it
that-
was less like actually having intercourse.
right. Yeah. Oh
in
yeah.
this
No,
film.
they're in Avatar. They're making babies. That's. There's no two ways about that. But
no two ways.
But yeah, it was kind of like a mind link. Like this is
Mhm.
like a DC reference, so you won't get this, but Daphne will likely get this. So it was kind of like a Martian Manhunter
Okay.
mind link thing.
Sure.
So Daphne, if you got that, let me know.
Let me know.
Thumbs up.
I wrote down an analogy. Can I give it to you? Tell me when we're about to wrap it up, and I'll wrap up with my analogy. So just make a footnote.
I mean, we can wrap up whenever.
Okay.
Could
we've said what we need to say.
I could talk about this movie for another hour, but I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know if I would say. Yeah, I could say a lot more words, but I don't know if I would tell you anything that I haven't told you.
Yep. No, that's fair.
Right? I think the acting in it is good. I think the kids are good actors.
And again, that comes down. It's impressive. They're children actors, and they pulled it off fantastically.
I think the father, who I'm starting to like more and more in things. This is the third thing I've ever seen him in. Well, I guess second, because I would have seen this second. So this is the second thing I've ever seen him in.
What else? What else have you seen him in?
The third thing I saw him in was Game Night. Right, he's the Jason Bateman movie, right? So he's kind of the brother that's plans the game night for them.
Yep.
And then the thing that I know him first and foremost as is like the poser, stupid, douchey actor from King Kong.
King Kong. Yeah, that's where I know him from.
Right.
Too.
That's what so anytime he pops up, I go, oh, really? And but I enjoy him.
Right.
I enjoyed him in this. So I think he's good in this. I think there's not a lot of characters in this. It's kind of just like for the most part, I would say it's the kids.
Yep.
The dad.
Yep.
Alice's dad.
Sure.
And maybe the colonel.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure, the colonel. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But even then, like he doesn't have a lot of screen time.
No.
Or much of an arc. So yeah. So I there's not a lot of people in it. There's no bad performance that sticks out to me. There's no performance where I'm like, this person, seemed like they're phoning it in, or they're overacting, or they're underacting, or no. I mean, that was all good. J.J. Abrams is as ballsy as ever with his there's no reason for this scene to have a lens flare. Let's add 4. Like that's
right.
That's ballsy.
Right.
That's to be known for something when it's like let's add 5 lens flares to the scene. JJ, it's a carton of milk. Yes, but it's a blue sci-fi lens flare carton of milk.
Right.
But JJ, there's so many lens flares now. It's hard to make out the fact that it is a carton of milk.
Shut up! I made Star Trek and Lost, so just can it.
And someday they're going to ask me to make Star Wars. I kind of highly doubt that, JJ. You'll see. Damn it.
You'll see. So be it.
Yeah. So.
Actually, can I just stop you for 1 sec? Kyle Chandler, one thing that we both forgot that he's the agent in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Right. Yeah, it's a small role, though.
Yeah. But he's less of a wiener than King Kong.
He's less of a wiener than in that, and he's still less of a wiener than James Marsden.
Ah, there it is.
I would watch Chandler before I would watch James Marsden, hands down.
For sure. But would you rather, if you had to watch James Marsden for an hour and a half at a farmer's market or Lost in Translation, what would it be?
The farmer's market, just because I'm curious. Right? Like this week I'm going to watch, they've just announced, they've given us a release date now for Sonic 2. So I got to get in on that first Sonic.
Right. All right.
Well, wrap it up.
Okay, so here's my analogy. So Super 8 in terms of baseball, sports are continuing to kind of resume as we get back to somewhat normal, although we're not anywhere near normal in the COVID-19 world. But here's a baseball analogy. So with Super 8, it's kind of like the ground ball that makes it through the infield and bounces all the way to the fence, and you get the winning run, and everyone is happy, and you still go for ice cream after the game. It's not perfect, but technically it checks off all the boxes it needs to, and you go home, and you're like, that's all right. Stranger Things is the grand slam, and you hit it, and it hits one of the lights in the outfield, and just sparks start to explode thematically, and the team rounds the bases, and they pick you up and hoist you up, and all your wildest dreams come true. And that's it. That's how these films were different.
That was an in-depth analogy.
Mm-hmm.
That was like Sermon on the Mound level stuff.
That's what I was going for, really.
People are how uncomfortable. Is it a genuine question? How uncomfortable would you be if you found out that someone on the internet, some lonely person who lives in New Zealand or something, there's no connection to them being pathetic or lonely and living in New Zealand. It's just a coincidence. Forms a religion based on that analogy of yours.
That would just be weird.
But how upset would you be? Like, would you go to lengths to try to? Would you just go, "Oh, that person's crazy," and I'd rather not think about it, or would you actively try to correct this person's path?
I wouldn't correct them, but I would say, guys, let's take a knee and let's talk about this for a minute.
Oh, they'd be on their knees.
Wrong
knees.
term. Guys, let's just reflect on this for a minute, and let's just think about what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So scale of 1 to 10, this son of a B for me.
Yeah, on my scale, it made a 6.1 out of 10. On Marshall's scale, it was either a 5 or a 6. I'm kind of drawn between the two. Kind of, either when you watched it again, you go, that's why I didn't like it, or it's maybe bearable to rewatch. Kind of somewhere between those two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
How about yourself?
I give it a 5.9.
Oh, cool. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so not quite a 6.
Yep.
5 to me is average. I think it's a little better than average.
Sure.
Just because again, it's got that Steven Spielberg flair to it.
Sure.
But still not great. It's not a great movie. My girlfriend owns it. I don't own it. I don't think I wouldn't buy it.
No.
I have no interest in buying it. If there was a... You know what, though? This is interesting. I think the visuals in this movie are good, and I think it's a good action-y adventure thing. I wouldn't buy this movie, but
No.
if I found out tomorrow that there was a 3D re-release of it in the theater, I would be tempted. Because I think it would be a fun theater experience. Not a good movie, but just a fun on the big screen. And maybe that's where this belongs. Maybe it belongs at a drive-in. Maybe it belongs on the big screen. But on a smaller screen, in a living room, when the pressure's on, it pops under the pressure.
Right.
Yeah. So for the last time in a long time, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And I want to explain for a second why it's the last time for a long time. When COVID started, do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
When COVID started, we talked about how we were going to up our content for you a little bit, and we did so.
We did.
And then about 3 weeks ago, we talked about how we were going to up it even further, committing to an almost consistently twice a week upload schedule until the end of November, when hopefully No Time to Go to the Grocery Store, or whatever the new James Bond film is called,
right,
comes out. So that we could get through our 007 series in time. Here's the thing, though. COVID's ramping down, thank God, depending on where you live. Here in Canada, it's
very, very dependent, where you're listening.
Here in Canada, it's ramping down, which means life is getting busy again. We don't find as much free time on our hands. And therefore, consistently, we were having to watch a minimum of 4 movies a week.
Yeah, it was heavy.
Our main Sunday episode.
Yep.
Our 007 episode.
Yep.
The film that was recommended to us.
Yep.
And then a 4th film altogether to recommend to the other person.
Absolutely.
That is that is a metric shit ton of films.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. And so basically there were 2 options. It wasn't just a lot, it was too much a lot. And so there were 2 options. Option number 1 was to go back on our promise of the amount of content we were going to deliver. And basically some of your regular Sunday episodes would be 007 episodes, and they would just kind of be sprinkled in and peppered throughout. We've decided to take option number 2, which means you're still going to get 2 episodes a week.
Yep.
But
most weeks.
Most weeks. But instead of reducing the number of episodes we give you, we're going to stop asking each other what we watched. Well, I mean, we could ask each other what we watched. We're going to stop recommending films to each other at least until December. At least until we're done with the 007 series.
Yep. And there'll be exceptions. We're only going to do it on an as-needed basis. So if we watch something that we absolutely say, Brady, you're watching it this week just because for reasons that we can get into.
Or not even this week. I need you to watch this. You got a couple of weeks to watch it. There won't be any time restraints.
Yep.
So there's a good chance
we might still ask each other what we watched this week, but it might be more like, hey, I watched this movie called Toy Story. It's pretty cool. and then we'll just kind of move on the
Yeah,
conversation.
and you know what? The what we watched may return. It may
Oh,
not.
for sure.
We'll kind of, let us know what
yeah.
your thoughts are. Should we do it? Should
Yeah.
we not do it? Starting next week, though, we're going to replace it with sort of just a little, a tiny segment tacked onto the end of the episode that kind of just covers this week in movie news. If anything kind of big and exciting, they've cast the new James Bond, they've announced this film, they've pushed this film back, they've canceled the Oscars, which they're talking about.
Yeah.
Then we'll kind of cover that at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So having said all that, what God, I promised myself I wasn't going to do this. What'd you watch this week?
So I'm going to get a head start on, like you said, if we actually find something that we want to recommend to each other, there won't be any time restraints on it that we have to watch it within that week. Once Upon a Time in in Mexico is what you recommended to me last week, and it's a 2003 film. I started it, and I literally got about 5 to 10 minutes in, and I could have had time to watch it this week, but it actually looks like a movie I'm super intrigued by, and I wanted to actually give it a chance to actually watch it like on a TV with a sound bar, and not just watching it like on my phone at my, at a bus stop, metaphorically.
In the bathroom stall at work.
Exactly. So I didn't watch it, and it is now the first on my list of I need to watch that Brady recommended to me. And in the upcoming weeks, probably in the next week or two, but in the near future, I will have watched it, and I will tell you exactly what I thought at that point.
Cool.
So the only other thing I watched this week is not my recommendation for you, because one, we're not recommending it unless it's on an as-needed basis. And even if we were contractually obligated to recommend a film to you, I would not recommend this film to my worst enemy. I watched a film called Dogtooth that was literally, I gave it a 1 out of 10. And even with that, I am a little regretful I gave it that high of a score. It was such a film that made me uncomfortable. It was long. It was kind of pointless. There were a couple things that I thought could have been an interesting story element if specifically M. Night Shyamalan, I think he would have had a field day at it, and he could have taken it in a few different directions. But it was an awful film, and I do not recommend it to anyone.
Oh man, I love Dogtooth.
Have you? I know
so
that's
good.
a lie.
I've never seen. I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, if you watch the trailer, that's enough. It's too much, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I watched this week. What did you watch this week?
I'm so bad with names. You recommended a television show to me, and you told me I had to watch the first 2 episodes.
Oh yeah.
What was it called?
The Terror.
The Terror. That's right. I kept thinking, I was trying to figure out what it was, and I had written down here terrifying.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, no, but I don't think that's it.
Yeah,
okay.
that's all right. Yeah.
The Terror. You told me to watch the first 2 episodes.
Sure.
I watched the first 2 episodes.
Cool.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So then I watched the 3rd episode.
Okay.
And it turned it around for me.
Really?
So now I've watched 8 episodes.
Okay.
I got 2 more to go because I think there's 10.
Yes, there are.
And I'm hooked. I'm very excited to see where this goes. I'm not going to give any spoilers to anyone, but I would recommend it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And don't, you know what? Don't let the first 2 episodes get you down.
No.
For me, the 3rd was kind of where it picked up, as some people might like it right from the get.
Sure.
And that's cool. But for me, it took 3 for me to feel like the show really found its own, before the show got comfortable with itself.
Sure.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I'm actually that's such a cool story. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that it got you hooked.
I felt like I felt very, I did what you asked. I didn't like it. And I thought to myself, you know what? Pete sees something in this show.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Right.
I'm going to keep going.
Sure.
I'm not enjoying this, but I'm going to keep going.
Yep.
Because Pete deserves it, damn it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I tell you? So the one thing I said last week, and I'll say it again, I do wish it had been condensed, maybe even 8 episodes. I do feel it was a bit long. But the one thing I will say that this film did, or this television series that's just a long film, it did something that Titanic did. And
showed Kate Winslet naked?
Just wait till episode 10. Episode 10, things go off the hook here. No, what this film, or what this, I keep calling it a dang film, what this TV show did, that Titanic also did, for me, it covered the human element of this historic tale. And it's one thing to actually talk about it analytically, intellectually, about the pursuit of the Northwest Passage and all the various expeditions that failed. But I feel, for me personally anyway, and this happened with a lot of people with Titanic, the human stories of the individuals involved were just so different from just the analytical, this many people went up and they were never seen again. And there was just one scene where it came to a head where the locals are asking the captain, why are you here? What are you doing here? And there's a bit of a language barrier, and the captain basically says something along the lines of, we're here for the economy. We're here for trade. And just to me, it was a microcosm of the human element, and just it felt so hollow compared to the toils of people starving to death and suffering for the sake of the economy. And just I would say that's the one thing this after finishing this series, it reminded me of Titanic, and it gave a human element to these tales.
I shit you not. If episode 10 comes and it just cuts to it just opens with a shot of Kate Winslet on a couch naked, I'm going to be so confused.
I'm going to lend you. I've got the 10th episode on a VHS. Actually, I'll send it to you. Don't watch it on wherever you've borrowed the seasons from right now. Just let me send you the 10th episode. I'll doctor something up.
This is really weird.
Yeah, no, I don't know where I'm going with this.
What are you gonna do?
Nothing. What else did you watch this week?
I watched similarly to you. Not something I would give a 1. I would give this a 2.
Okay.
Because that's what it is number 2.
Sure.
Big steaming pile. I watched a film with some other people. This was not my. I participated in this film watching for the social aspect.
Okay, I'm curious where this is going.
It is a film called The Kissing Booth 2.
Heard of it.
Now, surprisingly, I have not seen The Kissing Booth 1.
Weird.
But I watched it.
Okay.
And I mean, 2 is maybe a little harsh.
Okay.
I'd give it a 4.5. I mean, it's a tacky, cheesy, low budget, high school rom-com thing.
Yeah.
It's not well written. It's not well acted.
Sure.
But the characters have a lot of heart. The characters are written in a very real way, and it is a good, I enjoyed watching it. But I wouldn't recommend it, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course. Cool.
All right.
Is that, and then that's the last thing you watched this week?
Yeah, that's it. Well, was that it? No, it wasn't.
What? What?
I watched Schindler's List.
No
Yeah, I watched Schindler's List.
You did?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I think it's not something you should watch if you're already feeling kind of blue.
Oh, goodness, no.
So I won't make that
No.
mistake again. But
Oh, dear.
no, I mean Liam Neeson.
Yep.
Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good. I like that it's black and white.
Sure. Well, mostly.
Mostly
Yeah.
black and white.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's kind of got like a Sin City feel to it as far as the color grading goes. Have you seen Sin City?
No. No.
Okay. We will rectify that. There's that
Yeah.
word again.
What aside from like obviously there's the human tragedy element of it, and it's a kind of a film honoring the victims, and that's aside that kind of goes without saying. But you mentioned Liam Neeson. The other thing is Ralph Fiennes is one of the most talented actors.
Voldemort.
He plays Voldemort. He plays a Nazi concentration camp lieutenant or whoever he plays.
Yeah, Voldemort.
He plays such truly, he plays such diverse roles and so well. Ralph Fiennes is honestly right up there. If we were ever to do an episode with our top actors, I'm wondering if he'd be on that list.
We should do that.
I feel like we should.
We should. And we should have a guest.
Obviously.
And that guest should be Marshall.
I think it should be.
Yeah. It doesn't it doesn't need to be a specific Marshall, but we should find a guy named Marshall.
Quite literally. Actually, and like even if his name wasn't Marshall, but like his position was Marshall, like in a kind of a forest ranger, or if he was in the military, that would be fine too.
And I mean, you know a guy named Marshall, but
I do.
Let's not throw up before we get on the roller coaster. Let's look around and see what our options are.
Of course.
Yeah.
If we're at the point where we're giving shout outs, I want to give a shout out to Marshall. 2011 needs to be a shout out for him. It feels like we give him a shout out every week, but it needs to be a shout out for him.
One of us does, yeah.
Cowboys and Aliens came out in 2011, and that is that boy's bread and butter. The other thing that came out in 2011, and this is a trivia question for Marshall, and Marshall, you got to tell me if you know the answer to this question. But the film Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal. Do you know why I'm giving you a shout out with that film's name? And I'll leave it at that.
Do you know what else came out in 2011?
What?
Bert and Ernie.
No.
Yeah.
What? What do you mean?
That's when they officially admitted that.
Did they admit it? I thought it was still ambiguous.
It's still ambiguous, but there's I mean,
you just okay. Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, come on. They push those two beds together sometimes.
Listen, there's one more thing I gotta say.
All right,
we reviewed the film Super 8, but I gotta talk about Super 2 for a minute. And those Super 2 are our Patreon supporters, Daphne Kirkpatrick and Nate Grumman.
Holla.
Those two are fantastic. They support our show physically, emotionally, spiritually, and we just want medically. And we just want to thank them for their support, for their guidance, and we just want to say hello. And it's the first episode kind of the month, depending on exactly when it gets released. But it is time for their monthly shout out. And thank you guys.
Yeah. Where can people find more about us?
So people can find us on the links below on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please like, follow, subscribe if you haven't already. And you can also check out our Patreon page, and the link will also be below. You can help support the show. And also, in addition to helping support the show, keeping the lights on, helping us to grow and improve, we give you different perks on various different tiers that you can check out. And it's kind of a two-way street. You help us, we help you. And we appreciate all the support you give us. If you're not at the point that you want to give us monetary support yet, that's cool. If you just want to comment and like this episode post wherever you are, Twitter or Facebook, that means a lot as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.